semester, she lived in the Kappa Annex with the meal privileges at the Kappa House. The next semester, she was affiliated with the chapter and moved into the Kappa House. After graduation, she remained at Purdue and was a graduate counselor in the dormitory while studying her MS degree in home management. Her involvement with Kappa began when she moved to Northern Virginia in 1963. She contacted the Northern Virginia Alumni Association and received their newsletter. She learned that dues-paying members got to go on tours of several embassies. She paid her dues and participated in the group activities. We had many fundraising events, champagne brunches at historic homes. She washed many dishes and prepared for many of these events. She served as philanthropy chairman and then as president of the association. One of her first responsibilities was to appoint a chairman for our province. The association was to host the next province meeting in 2 years. She did not know many of the active alums. An alum who had been active for many years served as her mentor. She suggested names of many Kappas, and our various workings committees were formed. She worked with these committees. Next, she became province director of chapters, even though she had never been an advisor to a chapter. After receiving the files from the previous PDC, a training meeting at Kappa headquarters, and a list of council members she would call for help, she felt secure with her new Kappa commitment. 4 years later, she was appointed to the Rehabilitation Scholarship Chairman of the fraternity. She served under the Director of Philanthropy, and the director was always able to help her. The predecessor had moved to Europe, so she was not a resource for help. She served as the chairman for 9 years. Her last position with the fraternity was Financial Assistance Chairman for the newly formed Fraternity Foundation. She served in that position for 2 years. When she learned a dream that our chapter members could have since our days as pledges finally came true, the Stewart House, the house where Kappa Kappa Gamma was founded in 1870, was purchased by our alums. Many of the Kappas that were advisors or in the chapter when she was working to restore the Stewart House, she wanted to help. She thought I could knit personal sweaters for teddy bears. She met with several Kappa alums when she visited family in Monmouth. With their the bears were named Mini Stewart Bears. Blue and blue sweaters and KKG on the front of the sweaters. The fraternity placed ads in the key for the bears and also sold them at conventions, province meetings, and fraternity headquarters. The Stewart House received over $10,000 from the sale of these bears. Another dream has become a reality. Alpha chapter of Kappa Kappa Gamma has its own house. Congratulations to all worked so hard to make these dreams come true. She would like to give thanks to the young Kappas that are here today to hear this message. If you are asked to take a Kappa office, committee chairmanship, or any leadership position, do not hesitate to say yes. You will have many resources to help you if needed. You will meet so many Kappas from every part of our country, Canada, and from so many new friendships, and have so many happy memories. She is thankful that she did not say no when asked to take these leadership positions. I would like to introduce our next inductee, Ralph Whiteman. Please welcome Bill Axelson.
Ralph Whiteman has been a family friend and friend for many years. I don't have time, and you don't have time to hear all the accomplishments this gentleman has done for the chief chapter and also for the community in the surrounding area. I'll briefly do that if you want more details. I have it printed out over there, but please accept my apology. Ralph and I worked on this. I had dragged a lot of information out of it. And he had a note on the bottom of it, and it looks like he wrote this. He did not write this. We wrote this as I gathered information. I added some things to it. So Ralph was a teak a few years before I was. He and I were then on the advisory board for several years when I moved back to Monmouth in the early 60s. Ralph was involved in many local civic activities. You can find them with the Y, about 3 mornings a week, the Senior Olympics, when he qualified for nationals 6 different times. He founded and funded the Monmouth Achievement Program that was on the schedule last night. Listening to that, President Ann Tuggley was here, the president of Graduating Club, the class secretary for many years. He's a Navy veteran and a Naval Reserve officer, starting out at the bottom of the pile and then being a captain in the Navy, which is, for those of you who are naval friendly, he was the equivalent of in the Army what would be a colonel, so he was almost to the top. Ralph happened to be on a cruise when his place of business burned down, as they had a new, didn't burn down, but it was damaged while the new building was under construction. Ralph took business downtown, which is Security Savings, which I'm sure most of you know, formerly Monmouth Homestead and Loan. My mother worked there. My mother worked there 100 years ago. My mother fought as a freshman 100 years ago this year. He worked there a long time, and he took this from a three-employee business and worked and moved to the new facility. He provided one of the nicest physical plants with some of the nicest people to serve this community, and has done very well for many years and left it in able hands. But to me, a judgment of management is the number of employees that stay. And Ralph's been retired a few more years than I have, and still has several of the employees that are at the retirement age that he hired. Ralph was also involved with Habitat for Humanities. Almost anything in this area that was good for people, Ralph was involved with. At this time, it gives me great pleasure, and everybody says that really does, give me great pleasure to introduce Ralph White.
Thank you, Bill. You made a copy of that and I'm using it in my obituary. Emily, you're living very dangerously. When you turn a microphone over to a 90-year-old and ask you to reminisce. And I do get to use the poor man's teleprompter too. Thank you, Order of Omega, for this distinct honor. I gratefully accept this unexpected award, not in my name, but on behalf of my many lifetime mentors and outstanding fraternity brothers. To put this in some kind of perspective, for most and well, many in this audience, I enrolled at Monmouth College before your grandfather was born. That'll give you some perspective. I enrolled here before your grandfather was born. Hopefully the thrust of this program is not about honoring the three of us, but more importantly to inspire present and future students. It's more about what will be rather than what has been. We hear a lot these days about Greek affiliation being like family. My Teak affiliation has real family connections. My mother, who lived in Monmouth, was a huge Monmouth College and Teak booster. She also was the mother of 3 Teaks and the president of the Teak Mothers Club. I was a Teak legacy. My big brother was 2 years ahead of me at Monmouth, so I didn't have to go very far to find a role model. But he was a ton to follow. He was student body president, newspaper editor, straight A's, much for sibling DNA. The TEAC involvement runs even deeper. My daughter Cindy, who is here today, has actually been elected to more TEAC offices than I have. She was twice elected the TEAC sweetheart at Millikan. She also now is a professor at Illinois State. And any of her students who happen to be TEACs have a pretty good chance of passing her course. She was also a Greek. She's joined some offbeat, downtrodden, really pledged desperate sorority. I think it's called Phi Phi. Alpha chapter alert, she'd like to tour your house. Involvement with my fraternity, among other things, included serving as their social chairman. That chairmanship proved the claim of value of national fraternity networking. One of the local chapter traditions involved choosing a queen for our annual Red Carnation Ball. As social chairman, rather than have the chapter members vote, I sent the 3 nominated queen candidates pictures to fellow TEAC and movie star and future President of the United States, Ronald Reagan, and asked him to choose our queen, which he did. 2 asides. First, he was a better president choice than he was the queen. He didn't get that right at all. And second, he lived 2 blocks from here as a grade schooler and frequently played on this campus. Providing inspiration to members are 272,000 former teams, including such notables as Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers, Conrad Hilton, Charles Walgreen, and Merv Griffin. But a fraternity's role model the choice comes primarily from your own chapter, within your own chapter. My own pledge class at Monmouth, including these future inspirational high achievers: an MD, dentist, osteopath, minister, bank president, veterinarian, college professor, TV personality, and others with significant careers, all on one pledge class at Monmouth College. They all were unified in attributing much of their subsequent societal contribution to their fraternity as well as to their alma mater. Many of the physical improvements, programs, endowment gifts, and scholarships on this campus are the result of generous philanthropy of Greek-affiliated alums. And these have contributed much to the success of the institution. Thank you, Order of Omega, for this honor. Thank you also for embodying and promoting your impressive goals that benefit so many young adults. Now, in the immortal words of all of the ancient philosophers, when Keda Noxiam, where's a fighting Scott said, or yes, beat Knox.
Michael Cortina, please welcome Thomas Burkhead, class of 2018 and current president of Zeta Beta Tau.
Hello, my name is Thomas Burkhead, and I am the current Zeta Beta Tau president. Unfortunately, Michael Cortina was unable to attend our ceremony today. However, Dr. Lee McGann, one of Michael's professors during his time at Monmouth, will be accepting on his behalf. Please welcome Dr. Lee McGann.
I was touched and honored that Mike asked me to deliver his remarks today, and he was even concerned that I was critiquing his speech. So I would stop at the end of each paragraph and explain what he should have said. Probably won't do that. Let me just read what Mike had to say, and he titled his remarks, "The Power of Brotherhood." When I was informed by Monmouth College that I'd been named to the Greek Hall of Fame, my first phone call, as any good, obedient husband would do, was to my wife, to inform her that someone had made a terrible mistake and bestowed an award upon me. The second phone call, however, was to Lieutenant Colonel Christopher Heatherly, a 1994 graduate from Monmouth College. Even though he graduated from Monmouth the year before me, we got to know one another very well during our time here and became what can only be called lifelong friends. Chris joined the military mainly because of his patriotism and his sense of duty, but he also reminds me of my stories to him of when I was in the Army, pushed him over the edge, and convinced him to enlist. Chris eventually completed OCS and is now stationed in Wiesenbad, Germany, and holds the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. Chris is also a favored son of Monmouth, the city, and I'm proud to consider him one of my closest friends. I'm also proud to call him brother. For he and I are fraternity brothers from Zeta Beta Tau here at Monmouth. I mention Chris because our connection has never faded despite distance, duration of time, and difference of opinions. We live extraordinarily different lives, always reside over 1,000 miles apart, and hold extreme differences when it comes to politics. Despite all of these things, I know that if I ever reached out to him in desperation or in a time of need, he'd be there. And I would move heaven and earth to be there for him if he were to reach out for me. We each live different lives. We share a bond of brotherhood that transcends geography or geopolitical difference. Such is the power of brotherhood. And I'm a better person today because of the bonds that were formed from my time at Monmouth as a Zebe. One of the most fascinating things about Monmouth College is that it's a small liberal arts college in Western Illinois and the birthplace of the women's Greek system. Everybody here, of course, knows that Pi Phi and Kappa, two of the oldest and most renowned organizations in the Greek world, were founded right here. Both bear the names Alpha Chapter because they were the first chapters to exist in their respective organizations. Having such a prestigious organization originating from Monmouth College is not only holding to the spirit of the liberal arts education, but is a testament to the brave women that forged new groups and broke glass ceilings even before anyone realized that glass ceilings existed. And one of those women brings my story full circle. My connections to Monmouth College run deep. My great-grandfather's portrait hangs in Poling Hall, and the building bears his name, James Harper Greer. My maternal grandparents, Dr. George Best and Margaret Best, are graduates from Monmouth College, class of 1936. My great-great-grandmother also born the name Greer, and she was Ada Gruen Greer, one of the founders of Pi Phi here at Monmouth. Pi Phi was, in its formation, a secret society formed by 12 pioneering women students. Such courage and foresight are traits that I strive to possess, and are a legacy that I hope I fulfill. The spirit of the Greek system thrives at Monmouth College, and has helped me since I first became a Zebe in 1991. I know without a doubt I have brothers across the globe, and if they are needed, they'll be there. This sense of comfort and of family cannot easily be dismissed. Being part of something larger is something which I will always strive, be it in marriage, parenthood, professional associations, or even recreational groups. The Zebes supported my application to law school and comforted me when I found myself drowning in legal reading. Zebe supported me when I applied for jobs after law school and helped give me the courage to eventually step out and form my own law office. The Zebes celebrated my marriage and the birth of my daughters. My fraternity brothers are always with me, and that is a comfort that I would not trade. They say you cannot choose your family, but you can choose your friends. And I'm happy that my chosen friends are also my brothers, and therefore a part of my family. It's great to be a Zebe. I'd be remiss if I did not mention Dr. Lee McGann, who graciously agreed to present my remarks for me, since I could not attend the ceremony. Dr. McGann, a fellow Monmouth graduate and Army veteran, instructed several of my classes when I was a student here, and also acted as my advisor when I spent the summer researching and writing a paper with the help of a grant from the Ford Foundation. Dr. McGann's courses were instrumental in my deciding to attend law school, especially the course argumentation. As more than one of my fellow students at Monmouth commented to me, "Mike, you like to argue too much. You should go to law school." And so I did. And I never regretted it. Even though Dr. McGann belongs to a different fraternity than I, the fact that we were both Greek helped forge a bond between us that still exists despite the fact that I left Monmouth more than 20 years ago. He will always be my professor, and I always consider him my friend. And I feel the same way. Thank you, Mike. That's kind. He closes with these words: "Thank you for this award. It will always be cherished, and I will strive to live up to the standards of someone worthy of receiving this accolade." Thank you.
Thank you all very much for sharing your memories and insight with us today. New inductees, in honor of your accomplishments and in anticipation for the future, I end this ceremony with these words by poet Emily Dickinson. Please commit them to yourself as you continue to contribute in our society, in our community, and in our mutual dedication to a life of letters. We never know how high we are till we are called to rise. And then, if we are true to plan, our statures touch the skies. Congratulations to you all.